everybody, my name is Joe, this is Work Hard RC, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Axial Gilamon. Let's go ahead, get it open, and get into it. Everybody, so in case you're wondering, it is pronounced Gilamon. I believe it's actually named after the Gila monster. It's a lizard that is in the southwestern United States and then in Mexico as well. That lizard in particular is a big, heavy, slow-moving lizard. And so looking at the box, given this is a 1/8 buggy crawler, it is pretty big, and given it's a crawler and the way it's set up, it is slow moving, so I would say the Gilamon is an appropriate name. So just so you guys know, that's where that name comes from. So let's go ahead and take a look at the box real quick and see what's all on it. So you do see all of the regular markings that you would see from Axial. You do see the nice Gilamon logo there. It is a 4x4 buggy. It's ready to run. It doesn't come with a LiPo. It doesn't come with the batteries for the controller, but it's ready to run in the sense of you throw those things in there and it's ready to go. So we got the black and the red and white. So you can see that there. We'll open up here in a little bit. It does have LED lights. It does have a 2-year limited warranty. Again, it is ready to run and is part of the Adventure series from Axial. So website, everything you see normally on an Axial box. On the side, you see both of them side by side. Some more information on the dimensions on that side there. And then on this side over here, we have, again, pictures of the different colors. So it comes with that green and white, and we got the red and white there. And then on this side, it does talk about some of the features that we'll be going over here in a little bit. So that's the box, brand new Axial. Let's go ahead, get it open, and see what's inside. So we do have some new lighting here in the studio from Small Rig. They're just some small little lights. I'll link those to the bottom in case you guys want some nice lighting for either pictures or videos. Those are pretty cool. And also, if you guys want to pick up one of these Axial Gilamons, I am going to list it into the description below. You can check it out with one of our affiliates. I also put a link to some of the tires I might be getting for it, so that might be an upgrade here in the future. But here is the box. Let's go ahead and turn it over and get this thing opened up. All right, let's take a look at what it looks like from the top view here. There you go. Go ahead and pull this guy out. Looks like in this box here, we have our controller. We'll get that opened up right now. This is the Spectrum DX3 controller, and we'll take a closer look at that here in a little bit. So a bit different from the other Spectrum controllers that we have on our wall behind me. So we'll take a look at that. It has some features that are specific to this model as far as usage. Let's go ahead and take this beast out. This is a 1/8 scale crawler, so it is pretty big, but I don't think it's so big where it's going to be a lot larger than my 1/10 scale, so we'll take a look at that as far as size comparison. But there we have it, the Gilamon in the red and the white. Looks very clean, very nice. Let's take a look real quick at what comes in the bag. Actually, it does look like it comes with the batteries for the controller. I must have misspoke on that one. So looks like we have some additional LEDs. We'll have to see where those get installed. And then we do have the batteries for the controller. We do have additional servo horns. Those come in the box. And I believe they are metal. One's metal, looks like one's plastic. So those are those. And then we do have some different blocks for the ESC. So I'm sure we can adjust different power options with those, and we'll take a look at those here in a little bit as well. And then, of course, you have the instruction manual in this nice Ziploc bag right there with everything you need to know to run the Gilamon and some additional specs and things. So good to read over, good to know what you're dealing with as far as the RC car. Some promotion for wheels, some promotion and things for the radio control remote. And then it looks like we just have some more information as far as the Gilamon there, and then some upgrades you can do on that. So we'll definitely be looking at all of those to see what we can do to make this thing better. But from what it looks like, it has a lot of features that are going to make this very good crawler out of the box. So let's go ahead and get a closer look at it and go over the Gilamon. First look though, looks pretty awesome. You see it has two drivers. Very glossy, shiny guys. We might have to paint them. Just to make them look more realistic. They have some really nice helmets on, keep their head safe. Has a nice steering wheel. See all the gauges and controls inside. Pretty cool feature there. But as you see me holding this, you see how the shocks are working great. So let's take a closer look at everything and break it down what's inside. All right, let's go ahead and get this on our jack, and we're going to watch those shocks open up right there. Let's start from the back, work our way to the front as far as all of the features on the Gilamon. So the tires are officially licensed Mickey Thompson tires. They are 5.5 inches tall. They are, I would say, like a medium soft tires, and they are vented. So pretty authentic and nice looking Baja tires. These are the Baja Boss MT 2.2 tires. Pretty aggressive looking tread pattern there. Should be nice for holding onto those rocks and really gripping, just like the Gila Monster Lizard. So we'll see if it lives up to its name there. As we come just around the back, we do see that these have the IS-10 internal spring shocks. So again, you can see the play there. Their aluminum body has an internal spring, and they do really increase the ground clearance there. And you do have that high flex 4-link suspension, which is going to give it some nice twist and movement out on the trail and on the rock. So pretty nice features there. And as we move to the middle here, we do see that it does have this big pumpkin here, which is going to house the gearing in there. So these are the AF116P portal axles. Now it does have it in the rear and in the front. Now, what makes this a little bit different than some other models that you'll see out there as far as crawlers is that this does have the ASD, which is right here in the back. And as we see here, we see that servo horn. So that spare servo horn that came in was one for the steering servo, and then we had one here for this ASD servo here. So this is a micro servo. This is going to allow you to basically lock out or hold one of the tires braked, so that if you're in a tight spot, you can actually have one wheel not moving and be able to spin one wheel or the other. And we'll look at that a little bit closer once we get out and test this out and how that works and how it functions on the controller. And then we'll also take a look at that on the controller when we get to that here soon. But pretty cool setup in the back. I don't anticipate, because it has such high clearance, that this will be an issue because it's so big. But again, only time will tell, and we'll see how that works when we test it out. We do have some good places to go to really test it out on rocks and see how it does climbing up. We've really only tested all of our like 1/18 and 1/24 scale buggies. This is my first 1/8 scale, so it should be able to conquer anything that I take it out to fairly easily. And again, we'll take a look at that as we get out and about in the field. And just again to take a look at those tires again, very nice tires. And then the rims inside are 8-spoke designs. These are licensed by Raceline Adventure. So the Avenger tires are 2.2, and they really add some authenticity to the look of the buggy. I do really like those. Again, I probably will look at maybe getting some beadlocks for these, maybe some metal ones for some weight. This is a pretty heavy buggy in general, but I do like the way those look, so we'll use these for the time being and maybe look at some upgrades in the future. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but you see some wiring here. see if you can take a closer look at that. And here, these are actually connected to LED lights. We have LED lights here in the rear and in the front, and these are going to be different colors, so they're changeable. We'll look at those. We'll turn the lights off here in a little bit and take a look at the LED lights. So they are pre-installed, which are pretty cool. These rock lights should really help if I take it out with low light, you know, kind of dim light, or just, you know, in the darkness. So that's pretty cool. I haven't had that experience yet, but since I have the lights, I definitely will be doing that for the sake of testing it out, and also for the sake of having fun if we're out camping with the family. Pretty cool buggy to take out and about with the lighting. So that's a pretty cool option and a cool feature they have. It's going to be interesting to see what color options they have in there. Again, we'll test it out here in a little bit when we turn off the lights. And as we look here in the rear too, get a little bit closer. I'm going to take this off this jack here. You can really see the drive shaft through there, and then as I turn it over, you get a better look at the links and the drive shaft there. So this is the WB12 heavy-duty drive shaft, and it is available in the rear, and then you can see it as we go along the front, in the front as well. But take a look at that. Very nice. Looks very durable. I don't imagine we'll have too many issues with that. Looks like it should be able to withstand a lot of abuse, and it has a lot of flex. Doesn't look like it binds up just by me moving it around. So pretty nice there. And then, of course, we see the wiring for this micro server here in the back. It does have a space. Let me see on this side. I want to say you can hook up in the front a different micro servo to do. Let me see here. Well, I'll take a look at it as we get closer to the front. But there you see the wiring for that servo here, nice and clean, zip tied off there. I don't imagine they could have hit it very well, so it's kind of there. So you do see some wire running across that link there. Doesn't look too pretty, but hey, it's going to serve its purpose, I imagine, when we get out there. So just know that is the wiring for the servo, how it links up into the ESC from there. And we do kind of get a view of the internals here. I'll check off the sides so we can take a look at everything on the inside here in a little bit. All right, so as we turn it on the side, let's go ahead and take this off so we can get a look at the internals. Now, these side panels are Lexan, and they do have some nice decals on. I believe the decals are from the inside. We'll take a look as we get into it here. All right, so we do have it off, and the decals aren't on the inside, they're on the outside. I thought it was all a decal, but actually, this is actually painted, and the decals go on top, so pretty cool. Painted side. It is, like I said, Lexan, but it's a little bit thicker, so it's not as thin and pliable as you see on other cars. So pretty good feature there. Be cool if we want to do some custom upgrades to either purchase these or even make our own. Not too hard of a design to replicate. So that's off there. Let's take a look on the inside. So now that we have the side panel off, let's take a closer look at the frame. So this frame is plastic. It seems very durable, doesn't have very much flex to it at all. Now, putting a metal frame on here, you know, may work out for your needs. I don't think you necessarily need it unless you put like a little bit lighter weight aluminum in here. But for what it is, I think it looks great, and it looks like it's going to function fine, given it looks very rigid. And then that frame also doubles as the cover here on the bottom, the skid plate. So very nice there. All molded and built in, and you have the nice Axial logo there in the front. As we come around this way, we do see the switch here for the lights. So once we plug it in, we'll take a look at that. And then as you come around the back, you get a decent look if we look closely here to the ESC. And we do have the Spectrum Firma 70A Brushed Smart ESC. It's not a 2-in-1, so you are able to change out your controller if you want it a little bit easier with the SR515 DSMR 5-channel receiver. And as we come back to the front, you do see again the tires there with the nice spokes, the shocks, and then we do see the servo right here. That is the S682 25T metal geared servo, and again we do have an extra servo horn inside of the box. Or I'm sorry, inside of the bag that came in the box. And then from the front, we do get another view of the front axle there. It is again the AF16P heavy duty with high clearance. So again, with that high clearance, it should be able to conquer a lot of different terrain as a crawler buggy, and very excited about that, so can't wait to take it out. And then we get to see the front of the frame. We do have a spot for a winch. So I know we don't have too much to be able to connect to within the ESC as far as the receiver. So we'll have to see if maybe we get a different controller so that we can add a winch. It'd be pretty cool to add that on there. And then here, the front end actually acts as a battery compartment. So if we open that up, we see that there is a battery compartment. Let's go ahead and see if the battery I plan on using, which is a 5250C, fits in there. And it looks like there's no issue there as far as it fitting and closing. So that's the battery that we'll be using, or at least that size. Now I did read that there is a capability of upgrading the front axle or the front end as far as the wheels for a lockout as well. So you see that micro servo there. I did read that it did have the ability to mount another micro servo in the front if you had a different controller to operate it. And it looks like it would mount right there, given it looks very similar to what the rear looks like. So I assume that's where it goes. Now, I'm not sure if we'll be needing that. I imagine with the rear for our use, it's going to be just fine, depending on how serious I get with crawling. Now, this rig does look like a lot of fun, so I may do that. And then for the price point of $599.99, I would say it's a good step in the right direction if I want to get serious in it because of everything that it has on it. So that might be an option as far as that micro servo, putting that in the future. So just keep that in mind. That's where that micro servo would go if you want to do the lockout for the front wheels. And from the bottom, you get a really good look at the motor and the links there as well. And all the wiring nicely tucked away along with the heavy-duty drive shaft there. And then along the bottom in the rear, you do see the switch for on and off. But let's go ahead and get the battery charged up so we can take a look at the wheels and how they function as far as that underdrive there for the rear. And then we'll go ahead and take it out and see what we can do as far as driving it on the rocks where we usually take our vehicles and have some fun with this. All right, so quickly, let's go ahead and take a look at the Spectrum Smart Technology DX3 Smart Transmitter. So this is a 5-channel receiver, and it does have some different features that I haven't seen for myself. For what I have is this cool little one-handed control adapter there. So that's pretty cool. I do wonder if it's removable. I can install it into other vehicles. Let me see. It looks like it may be built into the wheel. But either way, pretty cool. Nice foam on the wheel there as well. And then as we look at it from the side, we do see that it does have this option here. That's going to be for the option to lock out that rear left or right wheel. So as we get out there, I'll have to test out which way it goes for right and left so that I can memorize that. Might put a little sticker there once I do figure it out so I don't forget. That way I'm not on some terrain and I forget and push the wrong one. So that is the part of the transmitter you need to know locks out that wheel. So that is the micro servo that I showed you earlier. So when you turn it on, it does show you the battery percentage on the Buggy itself, and then you have, of course, the green light when it's on. You do have your steering right here, brake rate, your steering trim, and your throttle trim there, and then you do have the ability to do 50%, 75%, and 100% as far as the throttle there. And then you have steer and throttle, neutral and reverse there as well. So pretty cool that it does have those features and that you have the ability to use that feature for the lockout for the rear wheel. Now, if you want to add that additional servo, like I mentioned, for the micro servo for the front, you will need a different controller for that because this one doesn't give you that many options to be able to control 2 different micro servos and the steering servo. So just keep it in mind as you go along, but this is the controller that it comes with, the DX3 Spectrum. I'm sorry, I bet you guys thought we were going to be outside driving this Buggy, but I did forget to show you the lights. So let's turn off all the lights in here, check out the different color combos for the trail rock lights so that we can get a good idea on how they work and what they look like at night. These trail lights are pretty cool. They're LED and you can cycle through them. So it is located on the bottom of the passenger seat of the Buggy, and when you click on it for the first time, you get to see the nice red color there, and that is in the rear, and then you also see it there in the front. Looks very evil there. Be pretty scary coming out at night with the red lights. You click it again, then you get the green lights. One more time gives you blue, Then after that, you kind of have a yellow, kind of lime green light. Not exactly green, not exactly yellow. Then you have purple. Then we have a teal color. And then we have just clear, regular white lights. So very nice. I do like that feature. We'll have to take it out in the evening, hopefully as it gets darker. If we have time to do it the same day that we do the initial test run, we will. If not, we'll be doing some more videos and follow-ups as we continue to use this buggy out and about. So cool feature, nice addition with the lights there. We won't have to add that on. I do like that very much. So let's go ahead and really take this thing out and drive it. All right, so we're out on site. We're gonna give the Gilamon a test run. We're at the same location we take all of our smaller scale vehicles, so we'll really be able to see what it can do on that terrain there on the rocks. We probably won't be able to test it on the tree, but we'll try the larger tree, see how it does there. But first I wanna show you guys the underdrive on the wheels. You can kind of see the difference between the 30% from the rear to the front. Let's take a look at that real quick, and then we'll get it out and get it crawling. All right, so we have the wheels marked with some Post-its there to give you a quick view of the underdrive for the rear. So you can see that they're about 30% slower in the rear. That is upgradable if you wanted to change that. We'll see if we do that in the future as I learn and get more into this particular model, which I probably will, we'll see. But you can see there, 30% in the rear. Let's go ahead and take this guy out and see what it can do. All right, so ordinarily this would be the tree that I take all of our crawlers out to see how it does and climbing up on the tree. However, this 1/8 scale is a bit too large to take it up that tree. We do have another tree on this side, which is pretty steep. I don't imagine we're gonna try it. I know the name of this crawler is the Gilamon, after the Gila monster lizard, but I don't think it has that much grip. Maybe before we leave, we'll try it out. But for now, let's go check out those rocks over there. All right, let's go ahead and use this terrain here with these rocks. See how far we can get to the side. We're gonna scale this guy right here, see if it sticks nicely with those wheels to this rock right here. That was an easy pass for this 1/8 scale guy. Not a problem. Scales that with ease. Got some soft dirt here. See if we can pass through that. Really shows the flexibility of the shocks and those wheels there. It looks like we're going to make it. I was being very optimistic there. Let's try this pass. Would have been cool. Maybe a more experienced driver, I'm assuming. Or let me know what you would have done if you could have made that up and over. That one took a little bit of finesse, and I made it. Not as clean as I wanted to, but it did go. Let's see what we can do coming downhill. Those wheels are grippy all the way around. Sidewalls, everything. I'm using every part of that wheel to come down. So that's really nice. They're really soft, so that really aids in his ability to stick to these rocks. Coming down was a lot easier than it was going up. That was beautiful. I don't think any of my other crawlers would have been able to handle that. I'm doing one of those. Try that line going back up again. See if we can get all the way up. I do step on the throttle. It is have a little bit of oomph to it. Let's try that going back up. good. Made it. I love it. There's a few more places I can bring this climb that it would do well at, but so far this was not an issue coming up this way. I do like that. That is just perfection. We're gonna make it back up the same way. Not having a view of it from the other side will be kind of difficult. So far, I love it. It's doing great. I'm going to be bringing this out here a lot more often so I can practice. And then see what other upgrades I can do to make it better. But it's all a driver issue, I think, with me. So, some practice, and then we'll get it. All right, so we're back. We just took the Gilamon out, and it was quite the adventure. I didn't expect it to do so well on that one last pass, just because I've taken some other vehicles out there and they didn't do so well. I did expect more from this, not only because of the price point, because it is a higher price buggy, but because of the fact that it is built to climb. And, you know, all the give on those shocks, all of the different angles that I could get, I surely did take advantage of everything. And there was one time, I'm not sure if it's in the video or not, where I almost tipped back. That was just me being kind of brazen. I know I mentioned in the video that you know, it's probably more of my skill level than anything. I'm sure this is way more capable than what I did. But then again, I did take it on some pretty rough terrain. I was really trying to get up on those rocks, and I did very well. So a little bit of give and take between the vehicle and my capabilities, and I will be taking it out to practice some more with it. And as we do that, we will be finding out what I need to work on, and also what the buggy might need to upgrade. So I know for sure, not that it's needed, but what I want to do is upgrade the wheels. So I'll definitely be looking at those. If you guys have any recommendations, please let me know in the comments. I'll make sure to look at them and to take those into consideration as we're looking for upgrades. But overall, it was a lot of fun. For the price, I do think that it is a value, only because I've looked at some other models in this size and in this vehicle type, and those go for about like $500 or so. So for what this has into it, for that extra cost, I want to say that it does provide the value for what I wanted, because I don't have to necessarily do those things. And then having that rear wheel lockout, I tried to use it here and there. It did work out one time. I'm not sure if I got it on video or not, but it did work out for me. So that's cool that it has that. And again, we'll see if we add the wheel lockout for the front as well. Another thing that I should say is that as I was taking it out and as I was crawling, I noticed my camera started to drift. It's so much fun that I really didn't pay too much attention to recording. So I do apologize that my camera was looking one way and the car was going the other. I was just really focused on trying to get that line and trying to go up that particular rock or terrain. So I do apologize for that, but it is a lot of fun. I know I have a lot of RC cars and my collection continues to grow, but this one was a lot of fun. And again, being out by myself, you know, just kind of focusing on trying to work on crawling on a certain line, trying to get up that rock, trying to get up that, you know, piece of dirt or get out of that mud. It was challenging. And I did enjoy it, and this did handle everything very, very well. So I do appreciate Axial for putting together such a great kit here for me to use, and for us. I mean, I did buy this with my own money. That's why I speak so much about it and so passionately, because I wanted something like this to do exactly what it did. You know, rock crawl. I have the smaller ones that I've been testing out. I have a business plan that we're going to be using those for, but this one was mostly just for fun, for me to just get out there and kind of find some peace, which is kind of a cool thing because you wouldn't expect to get that from RC, but this going up the rocks, there is something to it where you're trying to just focus on that. And again, you can see from my camera angles here and there that kind of drifted off just because I was so focused on what I was doing. So a lot of fun, a lot of tech that's in this. We did scrape it up a little bit here on the bottom. You can kind of see that there. And the wheels did get some good use all around, the inside, the outside. I was climbing up things and using the side of it for traction. So that was really cool. And you can really see how soft the wheels were and how that was used to really grip onto those rocks. So a lot of good features on this vehicle. And again, time will tell what I upgrade, whether it be the vehicle or something I need to upgrade within myself to drive it. So again, I do recommend this if you guys are looking for something this size within this price range for a crawler, for a buggy that you can take out there and really have some fun. So if you guys do want one of these, I do have an affiliate link linked in our description, so you guys can pick one up there. I do appreciate everybody for watching. And again, if you guys have any recommendations for wheels, please put that in the comments. I will be looking out for those as well. And again, I thank you guys for subscribing and watching. We have really bumped up in our subscribers, and you know, a lot of the things that I'm working towards for my channel, that I'm working towards for, you know, my affiliates, ambassadors, I do it for you guys in the sense of I want to put the content out there so that I can grow and so that I can bring more content out there. And as you guys seen in past videos, my family, for the most part, is with me. And I do have a car here that I'm going to be taking my daughters out tomorrow to play with because they've been bugging me to go out. So we'll be taking that guy out. But again, I do thank everybody for watching and for subscribing. So again, if you haven't, please subscribe. And we'll see you guys all next time.